Hello friends, good morning, good afternoon. In this session, we are going to see always on in SQL Server. So we will go through the step by step how to configure the always on high availability solution. So first thing first, this is our objective. Means there are three nodes I created. Means there is a SQL node 1, SQL node 2, and SQL node 3. With the help of that, we can set up the availability group setup, and then there is a avg demo new. This is the listener service, so that it is the first point of contact to the server. And then there is a miss SQL node 1 as a primary, SQL node 2 as a secondary, and SQL node 3 as a read only replica. Okay, so I will go through word file so that you can understand some prerequisite or a basic concept, and then we will go through the actual video or a demo. Okay, this is the document I created for you. Means how to start the always on setup. First of all, we will need VMware setup, because on local machine we require the four machine. Means on local laptop we require four machines. One is the AD, means there is a Active Directory machine. We can call it as a domain controller. And how to download that VM, so I will provide this link in the description box as well. And then there is a, we need operating system, right? Windows Server operating system. There is a 2016, 2019, 2022. All are fine. So I preferred Windows Server 2019. And we have to on VM we have to create the four machines. One is the DC01, and rest of the SQL node 1, SQL node 2, and SQL node 3, right? And next step is we have to install the Active Directory on the DC01 machine, so that we can control the three machines from them, and we can do the setup as a domain user, and we will get availability group or a listener service on the main DC01 machine. On domain controller machine, we have to set up the Active Directory domain services. And yeah, in few seconds you will get, yeah, how to set up that AD. And yeah, then there is a domain name as a swaraj.com, means as you want you can put it here. And then yeah, Swaraj is the domain name, right? And there is a Sagarias is the domain user. Okay, and add the member of that domain user and administrator group. So like this, means swaraj.com is the main your Active Directory. And then there is a users. In users you can see we have to add it. And yeah, then there is administrator, means there are some member of tag is here. And yeah, administrator, then domain admin, domain users, means whatever the permissions we have to assign to that particular user, so you can do that. And yeah, this user is important for SQL Server installation, as well as means when we are doing the main setup in SQL node 1, node 2, node 3, then we require that user, and from login perspective also. Okay, and yeah, what are the things we have to do on SQL node 1, node 2, node 3? Yeah, these are look like as a, yeah, change the location, means as per your uh means change the date time as per your location. And then next thing is the, we have to create a one folder on SQL node 1 for sharing purpose. Means we required the SQL server setup as well as SSMS setup. So yeah, we can transfer on the node 2 and node 3, correct? And the IP address should like as first of all, on Active Directory domain controller machine, so there is a 10.1.1.21, correct? For three machines, means 22, 23, and 24. Okay, and yeah, how to assign that? Yeah, you can see there is a 10.1.1.22, and here is the preferred DNS server, means it will contact to the AD. Yeah, that is the preferred DNS server. So we have to make that setting, and after that disable the firewall, means while installing or connecting with the uh, node 2 to mm, Active Directory or node 1 to the Active Directory, and then there is a SQL Server point of view, and after that you can enable the firewall again. And then yes, this is the rename the server name, means previously there is a W3 or something like that name, by default name is came for the particular when we create the new machine. So we have to rename it as a SQL node 1, and we have to add that machine in a Swaraj domain. Okay, so that that machine will be part of the domain group. And yeah, a restart server is important. And then after the IP address assignation, and then there is a server name rename, and then we have to install the SQL Server and SSMS tool. Okay, and while installing the SQL Server, and we required that particular domain username, correct? So we should give that. And after the SQL Server installation and SSMS installation is done, then on SQL Node 1, Node 2, and Node 3, we have to configure the failure cluster feature. So how to do that? There is a failure cluster feature, means in a server manager there is a add feature. So you will get that in a video, and add that. So there is a feature installation, means failure clustering. We have to add that on node 1, node 2, node 3, and make sure that TCP IP protocol should be on three machines, because they are communicating with the TCP IP protocol. And yeah, this is nothing but the yeah add features. Yeah, here as I said, means failure clustering, means manage server and failure clustering feature we have to add, and this is the final setup. Okay, and after that, yeah, once the feature is on, then restart the server. Or before of this restart, you can just right click on a SQL Server service and enable the always on high availability group as a checkbox, and then restart the server. And after that, we have to set up the cluster, correct? Means this is the second point. Yeah, means when uh, all the things are set up, means failure cluster manager on SQL node 1, node 2, node 3, then on SQL node 1 we have to set up the cluster, correct? So the cluster IP address should like as a 10.1.1.14, and yes, this is like as, and whatever the cluster name we have to provide, so you can do that. And yeah, after cluster setup, there is a domain computers look like on a DC machine, means in computers SQL node 1, node 2, node 3 are added, and yeah, Swaraj cluster is the name. And after the availability group adding on node 1, node 2, node 3, then yeah, means once the our actual availability setup is done, then this is the listener service, AVG demo new. So as I said, this is the first point of contact, or with the help of this we can connect to the server. So yeah, this should be listed at here. And yes, on SQL node 1, create the new AG group availability group replica, means it is on the when we are setting up the availability group and on the SQL node 1. Okay, it is not mandatory on a SQL node 1. We can do it on a SQL node 2 as well. But here, this drop down is mandatory, means we have to select Windows Server Failover Cluster. Okay, and the listener IP address should be 10.1.1.17. Yeah, this is the cluster look like as, yeah, failure cluster manager. And these are the, if you add, there is a node. So there is a Swaraj cluster and whatever the IP address, then there is a AVG group new, means it is the listener service, and this is nothing but the node 1, node 2, node 3. Actually you will get the complete idea in the video, means yeah, in the upcoming session. Okay then, yeah, let's start actual demo for the installation and configuration of the availability group. We have to download OS Windows Server 2019 ISO. It will redirect on a Microsoft download page, correct? And here this 64-bit edition we have to download. How to download the virtual machine? So there is a virtual machine provided by the VMware, and here is the link. So I will provide this link in the description, and yeah, there are means VMware workstation player. Okay, and whatever the versions you want, you can select it from here. And then this is the basically based on the Windows operating system. It is based on the Linux operating system, right? So you can download it from here and then install it. And after that installation, the UI look like as this, means there is a create new virtual machine, open virtual machine, and then click on this new virtual machine. And after that, let's start new virtual machine SQL node 3. So first of all, uh, here we have to select I will install the operating system later. Okay, click on the next, and then Windows Server 2019 we have to select. And then yeah, we already have the image of Windows Server 2019, right? So here what name we have to give? SQL node 3. And okay, location whatever, means by default. And then click on the next, and size is the 40 gigs is fine. Yeah, and after that click on the next, and here is the customized hardware. So memory assign as a 4 gigs. My laptop RAM is 60 gigs, so I am dividing that into the 4, means there is a 4 machines we have to create. One is for the DC, and the rest of the 3 machines are the SQL node 1 3 domain controller and 3 machines, right? And yeah, processor 2, yeah, no need to change at here. Here in CD/DVD we have to give the ISO image path. So browse it, and whatever you downloaded it, so you have to select that, means this image of the Windows Server 2019 image, right? Click on open, and then just close here and finish it. So here there is a SQL node 3 will appear, and just click on the play virtual machine. So yeah, it is starting. Yes, loading in the file started. Setup is started at here. Just click on the next, and yeah, press on install now. Click on the second option at here, SQL Server, sorry, Windows Server 2019 Standard Evaluation Edition and Desktop Experienced, and then click on the next. I accept the license terms. Next, then here custom. Yeah, 40 gigs. So click on the new, apply here. Yes, you can directly uh, go from first option as well, no problem. If we have to make a drive, then you can select this option. Otherwise, it's also fine. And then click on the next. Yeah, the setup is started now. It will take few minutes for the installation. And yeah, right now I am on SQL Node 1, and in this machine, I am going to change the time zone. Okay, 89, right? After that, we have to change the IP address of the SQL Node 1, Node 2, Node 3, and a DC installation is right now in a progress. So if we are checking, yes, this is the AD controller or a domain controller, we can call it as a Active Directory server. Okay, it is in the progress right now. Before of that, we will set up the SQL Node 1, change the IP address of machine, means click on here network icon, then change adapter option, then Ethernet adapter is showing, click on it. Maybe computer will slow because of the three machines with one DC controller, means total four machines with 4 giga RAMs, 4 GB RAM, so is equal to 16, and my computer memory is also 16 GB, so it might be a slow, correct. In properties, and go to the IPv4 protocol properties. Yeah, use the IP address as 192. Sorry, instead of the 192, we have to select it as a 10.1.1.22, and after that there is a subnet mask is the 255 at the end 0. Okay, and preferred DNS server is the 10.1.1.21. Why? Because we are giving 21 IP to the DC controller, or we can call it as a AD. Okay, okay, and then click on close. Disable the firewall. Click on search button and then click on firewall and then turn off the firewall. This is the internal machines SQL node 1, node 2, node 3, means IP address like 22, 23, 24, and we have to communicate them with each other. And right now it is here, there is a yellow icon, means it is not connected to the outer, means no any internet connection, correct. Why I am disabling this firewall? Because we have to install the SQL Server, and for installation of the SQL Server, for time being, we have to disable the firewall. Then again, we can enable it. We have to rename the SQL Node 1 because we have to, means add this machine into the AD or means domain controller, correct, means Active Directory, so that right now I'm not touching to this machine. means renaming of the option. But first of all, set up the AD machine first, and then I am rename the means SQL node 1, node 2, node 3. Right now, what is the computer name? So go to the CMD and then check the host name. Yeah, here you can see there is a different host name and the group is also different. Means right now this machine is not in the AD group, right? So we have to do that. First of all, we will set up the AD machine first. Now start the AD machine. Here is the AD control, right? No, here is the alter control delete. Login it. Sorry. We have to make this machine as a AD controller machine. Plus 530. Where is that? Scroll down. Okay, got it. And display properties. Okay. Then next thing, server manager also we have to set up that services. First of all, I'm going to set the IP address, change the IP address at here, change adapter option. Okay. As I said, we have to give the 21 miss 10.1.1.21. Oops, yeah, 1.1.21 and 255 because they are communicating in a one network, right? And yeah, 10.1.1.1 and yeah, default DNS address is trying to connect with self, right? Okay. And if we have to connect this machine to the outer side, then just remove the IP. Okay, close it. Right now we are building up the internal setup, means like in a data center we are means some machines are connecting to the outer side, so they are having the different IP address, but internal machines having their own IP address, right? Means they are communicating with each other. Right now we are setting up the internal machine IP addresses. Means there is a AD is the main machine, and then there is a SQL node 1, node 2, node 3, right? And with what is the use of AD? Means first of all we have to create the user and then circulate that user with other three machines. Rename the PC means on AD machine. Here we have to click on a setting, and after that setting box will appear at here, and then in about section there is about, and in that there is a rename PC, right? And in rename this PC we have to change it to the DC01 and then restart now. Yes, machine is ready. Here we have to set up the DC, right? Active Directory on this machine. Yes, server manager. Yeah, it will take some few seconds to load it completely. Go to the manage, add roles and features. Yeah, in this there is a next. Yes, here is the role based feature based installation, and then click on next. After that server selection, and in that there is a Active Directory domain services. Click on that next, and then include the management tools if available. Yes. So add features, then click on the next. Here is the .NET framework it is required. So it is installed as it is, and then click on the next. Yeah, install it. Active Directory domain services, right? Installation is started. Here one link will appear. Promote this server as a domain controller. Click on this. Yes, this box will appear. Yes, add a new here. Add domain controller to the existing domain. No. Add new domain to the existing forest. No. Add a new forest at here, right? Means we are creating the separate domain. Swaraj.com. I am creating new one. Okay. Click on the next. Yeah, which operating system? Forest function level. So here you can select 2016. Yes, domain function level 2016. No need to change at here. And then whatever the password you have to set, so you can set at here. This password is required to add the new machine in the our domain. Correct? When there is a new uh, means SQL node 2, node 3, we have to add here in this group means swaraj.com. Then we need this password. Okay, a delegation of the DNS server cannot be created because authorized parent zone cannot be found. Okay, click on the next. Yeah, ignore it, and here is the net bias domain name Swaraj. Yeah, appear right here, and then paths will go to here. Click on the next. These are some additional options we have to do. Yeah, means where this AD Active Directory database logs files sysvolume. So yeah, this is the final report. Means as a review, click on the next. Yeah, prerequisites checking is doing now. Yeah, prerequisite all prerequisites checks pass successfully. Click install to begin the installation. Just install on it. Then you will get this message, you are about to sign out. Yeah, and then restarted machine. Yeah, it will take some time to apply the computer setting. Here you can see Swaraj slash administrator, right? And then login it. Previously there was a no domain, and right now here is the domain, right? Means we can create the users, means like a Swaraj slash whatever, means XYZ. And simultaneously here we can add the machine into the Swaraj domain. How to do that? First of all, go to the control panel, and in that system, and yes, system and security, sorry, here system, and here there is a change setting, and we have to change the name of the computer as well as work group, right? So I am giving you here node 1, SQL node 1, so that it will be better. SQL node 1 and change. You can find here as well, or Swaraj, yes, and computer name as SQL node 1. Okay, and here you require the password, as I said, right? And Swaraj slash administrator, because he is allowing you. Oops. Okay, it allowing, and simultaneously we can see the, yeah, this is the AD controller, right? Yeah, it is checking. Till the time here we can see Active Directory, domain services, or we can go here as a computer management. We can see the user from computer management as well as a AD, means Active Directory setup through here. When we see Active Directory controller, yes, Active Directory users and computers, right? It is taking time. Yeah, welcome to the Swaraj domain. Means configuration done properly. Correct. So yes, restart is required. Apply it. Restart now. So means there is a SQL node 1 is added into the domain controller, right? And here, if we see, this is the local computer, is device manager. Here is the local users as well, but yeah, I will show you. Before of that, Active Directory is important. Yes, yes, Active Directory users and computers, right? So yes, what are the built-in users? Yeah, and we have to create the one user which will log from SQL node 1, node 2, node 3, node where, yeah, and there is a computers here. If you see, there is a SQL node 1 appear at here, right? And same we have to do activity for the SQL node 2 and node 3, and yes, there is a built-in user, right? And we have to create the one Active Directory user so he can log in from the different machines like a node 1, node 2, or a node 3, right? So I am creating the one user. Here is the user folder, and in user folder you can create the new user, new user. I'm calling it as a Sagar. Yes, yeah, and logon name as a Sagar. Yes, yes, and Swaraj.com, right? Next, okay, provide the password. Okay, new user is created, and we can give him or assign the rights as well using the properties, means who is part of which group, means administrator group, or means simple, there are different roles are available, right? Member of, yeah, here is the domain user, and we can add him as an admin if we have to give good rights or miss major rights, then sorry, adminis, sorry, my bad, straighter. Yes, okay, swaraj.com entire directory. Yes, using this we can also add him as a administrator, means first of all in the object type we have to enter the directory sorry, groups, and in location as a entire directory select, so that all the groups will appear at here, and then click on the OK, and then just find now. So here is the administrator. Okay, so it having the complete rights, right? Administrator group. Okay, apply, and okay. So we create the Sagares as a user, right? And we can log in this, uh, means we have to log in SQL node 1, node 2, node 3 from this user. So let's try on. I'm going to the SQL node 1, right? And click control delete. Right now here is the default administrator na? So we have to uh, go into the domain, right? So other user, and yes, here is the Sagar, yes, and whatever the password, if we uh, click on administrator, then it will log in into the that local server, but I have to log in from the that new user, right? Sagar, yes, and then click on the connect, so that I'm connecting with the help of AD user. Same action we have to do it for the node 1, sorry, node 2 and node 3. And if you see on this machine, so yeah, there is a computer's node 1. So same like here, node 2 and node 3 will appear. I downloaded the two setup at here, means one is for SQL Server and one is for SSMS. So on these three machines, SQL Node 1, Node 2, Node 3, we have to install the SQL Server 2022. So yeah, what I will do, I will share the folder at here so that I can access from the Node Node 2 and Node 3, right? We required that setup. So just go to the properties and share the setup with others. And we have to give the permission to the Sagar. Yes, yes. Okay. Admin permission we require. Yes, yes. We can access it from the node 2 and node 3, right? Yes, done. Okay, close. And from DC machine, I'm able to access Miss SQL node 1. Means here we have to type as a slash 2 slash and then SQL node 1. So you will get this folder and you can install. I am on a DC01, means AD controller machine. So I'm not installing this setup at here. So yeah, I will install it on a SQL 2, SQL node 2 and SQL node 3. Okay, click on the setup. Means here, as you know, there are two setups. One is the SQL Server and one is the SSMS. So I clicked on that and then we required administrator rights, means administrator username, administrator and his password. Okay, and then you will get the this UI, right? And in installation, we have to install the SQL Server standalone installation, right? And yeah, it is a normal one. Means in my previous videos, also shared about means how to install the SQL Server. So you will get that information as well. Yes, here click on the edition. So evaluation edition is for the 6 months. So click on this and then after that next. We are doing this tutorial for the learning point of view so that you can learn, yeah, how to set up the SQL Server availability group. Means there is a HA and DR, or we can call it as a always on in our data center. And yes, okay, updates we don't want. Yeah, if firewall is on, then it will give us the warning. Otherwise, no. Yeah, firewall warning. So we have to check firewall is on or off. Yeah, from here we have to disable the firewall and then go to the SQL Server setup and then rerun it. And once the installation is done, then you can again turn on the firewall. Yeah, and I'm going to install only the database engine service at here, right? And for availability group, we have to add the feature on the server level so that it will uh, means it we can apply the availability group and always on feature. Okay, but here database service engine is fine. Database engine services, yeah, and we have to replicate set up the replication, then we can also do that. So I am checking that as well. Here give the default instance as a MS SQL Server. On one server, multiple instances we can queue and we can do the availability group in between them as well. But right now the in scenario is different. We are setting up the three nodes, means SQL node 1, node 2, node 3, means three different machines. It is easier to understand, means what we are doing on a first machine, second machine, and third machine instead of the on one machine. But we can do that as well. Here, provide the password, and I am giving the rights to the that user, right? Here, click on add, and then just click on a search. Sagar, yes, yes, and then check the names. So you will get that name. Okay. So he will be the administrator, and data directory you have to do define. You can, and then finally we are at the installation phase. Okay. Okay. Installation is started, and then finally, yeah, once installation is done, then we have to add the one feature as a server level. So yeah, I will show you that in a few minutes. Here we have to set up the SQL Server Management Studio. Just click on it and give the permission of the administrator rights. Yeah, no permission is required. Yes, yes, required. Yes. Once the permission is given, then setup will start. Means it comes with Azure Data Studio as well, SQL Server Management Studio and Azure Data Studio. Here you can check SQL Server is installed properly, means SQL Server in bracket MS SQL Server, and yeah, the service is running. And how to connect that service means how to connect with database engine with the help of the SSMS, right? So once the SSMS is installation done, then we can connect to the SQL Server. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, please share it and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much. Bye bye.